Yo, my name's Liam. Welcome back to the show. Today I'm going to talk about the very, very basics of the sales process. So I'm approaching $100,000 in sales of kitchen products, all right? So it's direct sales. It's appointment based, so I go into people's houses, I pitch the kitchen stuff, and I demo it, and then ask them if they want to buy it. So it's pretty simple. I first it's a phone approach, okay? So I call the prospect, I network completely through referrals. So I'm just gonna walk you through my process. And just so you understand, I network through referrals. So I'll ask each client at the end of every appointment, who do they know that I could show to? And I kind of entice them with free stuff, whatever. But referrals are huge, and if you know how to get them, very important. I'll make a video on that another time. But the actual process of selling something is really, really simple. So firstly, before you do anything, you're in the room with the customer. You guys both know you're here. Regardless of how long the sales process is, whether it's 10 minutes, 20 minutes, an hour, you want to get some level of rapport. So you want to start by talking about something completely non-related. So, hey, what brings you to Florida? Or, hey, what are you guys doing? Anything fun for Christmas? What are you guys doing for Christmas? Get them talking, and ideally you want to reach something that they like to talk about. In the rapport process, if you can get them to just talk about themselves, they're going to find you really, really interesting and really, really credible. So the whole rapport process, you're just trying to build up your own credibility and become their friend. Step 2, you want to establish what the problem is. So you do a short intro about your product or service. You would say things like, yay, the company's been around since 1976. Everything we make is backed by a forever guarantee. That's my stuff. But regardless, quick intro. Now you establish the problem. So you really want to bring about the pain in what you're selling. So for me, with kitchen products, knives in particular, I'll say, do you ever use knives and a couple years later they're dull, a couple months, they're dull, rusty, worn out? Sucks, right? Get the emotion into it. Then you take a shitty knife, try to cut something, have them do it. You want to bring about the pain, okay? That's how you sell. If there's no problem, they're not going to buy. So sometimes they come to you with a problem, really easy. Sometimes they come to you and you need to create the problem, or you have to seek out the customer and really create the business, okay? That's what sales is. You have to create business. So you want to make them feel the pain. Be like, imagine you're sitting at the dinner table and you're trying to cut through a steak and you're just sawing at it. You can't. You've got an earthquake effect at the table. Okay? This is all stuff I actually say. You want to take them back to that moment where they're at the highest amount of pain. And then you establish the solution, obviously. Now, this is really, really basic, but I think it can be applied. Just take this framework and try to create a script around it, okay? I'll have to do another video on phrases and things, but once you've established the problem, you show the solution, really, really basic, but you want to paint the picture of what it'll look like when when the problem's solved. So if you're selling fitness, you would say things like, imagine you walk into a room and your presence fills the room. Everyone looks at you and wonders what you do in the gym. What do you eat? People come up to you and ask you, hey, what's your workout routine? Imagine you walked into a room and just say things, imagine, ... the dream, okay? That's really, really powerful. So then they had the problem, then they just were put into the place of the solution. So they're really, really emotional right now, and that's when you go for the close. And keep in mind, this is all just really, really basic stuff. This is super broad, but it's a good starting point to realize how the sales process kind of works, just as a basic skeleton. And there's probably a good acronym. I know Hormozy has the closer acronym. Go check out some of his stuff. But then you close. So you don't necessarily, when you're closing, first of all, always ask for the sale, no matter what. It's scary sometimes, but you always got to ask. But you want to ask qualifying questions to lead them and see where they're at without directly asking them. Because the more and more you ask, it gets redundant and it makes things more and more salty, more and more salesy, okay? If you can just ask questions that are a little bit indirect, that tell you where they're at, that's key. So the first ask, you always want to start with something really, really expensive. So if you have a premium program, always ask for that first. It's kind of controversial in that, but always throw out the biggest number possible first, and it's called anchoring. So when you ask for the sale first and it's the highest possible price that you could sell them, then when you drop down and if you start at something that's $1,000 and then the next time you ask it's only $300, they're like, that's not that much. This is a lot of info, so I'll go more in depth with these if you guys want. But once you start really, really high and drop down, you can ask those qualifying questions. So if you were to have this program, do you think you would get some great use out of it? Okay. And they'll be like, yeah. Okay. Do you think that you could fit it in the budget if you really wanted to? That's a really good question. Do you think you could fit it in the budget if you really wanted to, or is it pushing the envelope a little bit? And a lot of times they'll be realistic and they'll be like, well, no, I could. And you'll be like, okay, so you said you'd use it. You said you could fit it in the budget. So what else is holding you? What's the real reason? You can be real with them. But you just gotta pick apart. Making this video makes me realize I gotta make it more in-depth. This is very, very broad. But still, I hope it's helpful in the slightest bit. And then, once you get them to say yes, then it's all about reassuring them. Because you don't want them to return your shit, okay? That sucks. So it's all about being, thank you so much, you're gonna love it. Just pretend like this is the last client you could ever have. Write them a letter. Tell them how much it means to you. Really, really firm up the sale and avoid a return. And then keep in touch with them every now and then. Just say what's up. Tell them about deals, whatever. Just know that you want them to know that you're not just you're a friend at this point. You know, you're going to help them out no matter what. So recap, rapport. Then you build up the problem. Imagine, or when you're at the dinner table, those kinds of things. Paint the picture. And then you paint the solution. And then you close and you use your qualifying questions to gauge where they're at. And then you drop down if you have to, etc. So this is really, really broad. It's not necessarily as tactical as I'd like it to be, the advice. But I still think if you have never sold anything and you don't understand how the sales process goes, this could kind of help you understand the basics of it. All right? So I'll probably make more videos on each step of the process and throw out more tactical lines to use. But this is a good place to start. If you've never sold anything, it's really easy. You just ask a bunch of questions and make them your friend. That's all you got to do. So good luck out there. Go try and sell something to someone. Get a sales job if you can. It's all performance based. It's all about how much you want to work. So just try to sell some stuff. Get out there. Get out in the field, man. Try to sell something to a friend. You can role play. You can role play with a family member, a friend, whatever. Just get reps out there, and don't be afraid of hearing no. Y'all take care.